Did you end up burying her at your house? Okay. Was the shovel or whatever you used, was it at your house?
Yeah.
Hey family, and welcome back to another episode on our true crime series. Now, we all have secrets that we may have kept from our parents. However, I guarantee you no secret is bigger than the secret that Brooke Skyler Richardson kept from her parents. Now, Skyler is an 18-year-old high school student and cheerleader who's thriving very well. She is getting ready to go to prom. She has a new boyfriend, and she is very happy. Now, Brooke did suffer from bulimia, which is an eating disorder, from the age of 12. So she would often not eat anything, not even a piece of gum, because, as she stated, it had 5 calories in it.
She said that's too much.
That was too much for her. So she did suffer from an eating disorder. However, you know, at the age of 17 or 18 at the time, she had gained weight. She was looking healthy. Her mom was ecstatic. And she was, you know, getting her ready for prom. Well, her mom knew she was in a relationship and, you know, knew that they were sexually active. So her mom wanted her to go get on birth control pills. So the day before the appointment, Skyler ended up texting her mom, telling her how she didn't want to go to the appointment, but she wanted the birth control pills. Maybe she should cancel the appointment. And her mom, you know, basically expressed to her that since she was doing adult activities, she wanted her to get on birth control. She just wanted the best for her, and they proceeded and went to the appointment. Well, when they got to the appointment, her mom stayed in the lobby while Skyler went to the bag. At this point, she's 18, so she doesn't need her mom's consent. She did tell the doctors that there was a possibility that she could be pregnant, but she wasn't sure. And it was standard for her to have a urine sample tested anyway. If y'all didn't know, that is standard at the doctors. And it came back positive. So Skyler is basically losing her mind. She's telling the doctor she can't have this baby. She needs the birth control. She don't want them to tell her mom. She's not going to tell her mom that they're going to kill her, basically. But she still wanted the birth control. So the doctor, you know, went along with it and wrote her prescription for the birth control, but told her that he needed to see her back because she was already 32 weeks, y'all. 32 weeks along already, yes. And so he wanted her to do a follow-up because she was so far along. When she walked out, her mom did notice that she was crying, but she never mentioned anything of it, and her mom never questioned it. 9 days after the fact, Skyler got ready for prom. She had this beautiful red dress on that we will insert. And as you can tell in the picture, Skyler does not look pregnant at all to be 32 weeks. And I can only imagine what was going through her mind at the time. But just like any kid, you know, she kept going. She apparently wasn't thinking about what was to come. She was only thinking in the moment. So I know that night she was complaining of really, really bad cramps. She kept telling her boyfriend that, you know, she had some of the worst cramps of her life, but that she was fine, that she was okay. They went on, you know, through the night. On May 5th, 2017, Skyler was waking up out of her sleep because of the really bad cramps, not knowing that she was in labor. She got up to go to the bathroom and ended up delivering her baby, which she named Annabelle, in the toilet. She then proceeded to get her baby. She said that the umbilical cord wasn't attached, or she didn't know what happened to the umbilical cord. And I wasn't able to find anything else on that. But she then proceeded, you guys, and this is where it gets gruesome. She proceeded to take her baby and bury her in the backyard. So 2 months after all of this happened, she did go back to the doctor to get another prescription for birth control. And her doctor questioned her and asked her, where is the baby? Like, the last time I seen you, you were pregnant and now you're not. So where is the baby? The doctor did, you know, inform the police what was going on, and they brought her in for questioning. Now, Skyler initially said that she didn't know what happened, that she didn't kill the baby, that the baby basically was a stillborn, that she wasn't crying or anything, she wasn't moving or anything, and the only thing she thought to do was to bury her. After being questioned, she did come out and say that, well, maybe she was, you know, crying or gargling a little bit, and maybe she was moving a little bit, but she then proceeded to bury her. Like, after 5 minutes, she was no longer breathing, so she buried her.
Okay. Did you end up burying her at your house? Okay. Was the shovel or whatever used, was it at your house?
Yeah.
Okay. So just kind of help me, you know, walk through this. So what did you do? I guess, is your bedroom upstairs or bathroom upstairs? Okay, so you had to walk downstairs?
I had to clean myself up a little.
Are you carrying her?
Yes.
Did you go into the garage, or do you have an outdoor shed like where you have a shovel?
I my garage.
Okay. What did you find, or what did you use?
I just got a shovel, and I just put a little hole in my backyard and put her in it.
Okay, I understand. What did you do? Did you have, and you didn't have any help, right? Okay. What did you do with her while you were digging the hole?
I set her down.
Was she outside with you? Were you worried that anybody was going to see?
Yeah, I should have told my mom. She could have asked me.
I understand, but I mean, what? Was it daytime?
No, it was the middle of the night.
Oh, it was the middle of the night?
Very, very early in the
okay.
morning, nighttime.
Did it wake you up like you felt like something was...
I didn't sleep that night.
Oh, you didn't sleep, okay. Could you already feel like something was going on with her?
I
Okay. So this was the middle of the night. Were your parents home?
Yeah, they were asleep.
They were, and they were asleep.
They didn't hear me. They didn't hear me.
Did the dogs hear you or anything? Or...
I left my dog upstairs.
Okay. So you take her with you. How far down do you think that you dug?
Not that deep.
I'm sorry?
Not that deep.
Not that
I
deep.
wasn't strong enough. I hurt really bad.
Well, and that's what one reason I asked that is because I know the ground can be pretty hard, and you're trying to do it by yourself. You're upset. It's horrible. You just had a shovel, right? Like that, and you didn't have a pick to help break stuff up or anything. Oh, a little shovel?
I tried.
How far down would you, like, if you could even guess, do this? Would you say you dug this far, this far, this far? Maybe only that far.
I covered her though.
Was she? So you dig a hole. You dig a small hole. Did you place her in the hole? Okay. Was she still in the towel?
No, I took her out of the towel.
You took her out of the towel. Did you lay anything down there in the dirt, or was it just the dirt?
Just her.
Just the dirt. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to figure out and try to picture. And then you covered her up with dirt, right? And then what did you do as far as, did you do anything else? And the only reason, I guess, were you worried that someone was going to notice that or see that? Or
yeah, I planned to eventually tell my parents.
Yeah. What part of your yard is it in? Like if you're...
The backyard, the very back of my...
Right, the backyard. But let's say, and I looked at your backyard a little bit, if I'm like at your back deck, or like that door there, looking out into your yard, which would it be off to the left, to the right, straight back?
Kind of straight back, just a little bit.
Is it all the way back there, like where that tree line is, where the trees are?
Yeah.
And would you be able to show us exactly where it is?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let me in trouble for
Did you, well, wait, stay with me for just a second. Did you ever get a chance to plant flowers yet or anything?
I just found some. I put them on her.
You did?
The flowers, I put them on her.
You put them on there? Okay. Are they still there, or was that back when it happened?
Back when it happened.
That was back when it happened. Okay, and now then, have you been back there since?
Maybe once. It's hard.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm wondering, what does it look like now? Can you still see the spot where you dug?
Yeah, because I put a little vase by her. There was a little flower pot by her.
Okay. Obviously, there was so much going through your head and everything. And when you when you buried her, can you tell us about what did you do right after? Did you tell us about now going back in the house? Like, what do you do right after you bury her?
Cleaned up the blood.
Mm-hmm. Did you have anything to clean up?
I had a towel.
Yeah. What did you do with that towel?
Just threw it away.
You threw it away? Okay. Did you throw it away inside the house or in like the Rumpke bin out in the garage or whatever?
I threw it away maybe like a couple days later. I'm sorry.
Okay. Did you think about telling anyone at that time, or were you still pretty sure?
I don't know, telling my mom. I should have told my mom.
You thought about it?
Yeah. I'm really sorry. It feels almost over.
Well, it's okay. I mean, no one can judge, what you did at that time. We weren't going through what you went through at all, so I can't say you definitely should have told your mom, because I wasn't going through it. So, and we're not here to try to do that. You said, so this is in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah, maybe like
you said the next day you delivered your afterbirth. Would it have been later on that same calendar day, but later during the day? Can you remember?
I came out with me. I don't even know what it was supposed to look like.
What the
I just came out something came out with the body, but there was just a lot.
Yeah, well, and that was probably it, because it's a lot.
And she buried her with a piece of the flowers from her corsage from prom. So the detectives did continue to question her, because one of the doctors, basically, when they were examining the bones, because they did dig up and find her bones in her backyard, they did determine at first that the bones were charred, which means that Skyler had burnt the baby before or tried to cremate the baby. They did get her to confess and basically say, well, maybe she did try to cremate her a little bit, which blows my mind. And all this happened in the middle of the night. Her mom, her dad, and her brother were home, and none of them heard anything. But it was stated that the mom, the dad, and her brother didn't know anything. And it was also shown that, when they were at the police station, that her parents were just now catching wind of everything.
So y'all can have the room.
I'm so sorry, Mommy. I'm sorry.
You should have just told us.
I know.
If you had just told us.
Kids get pregnant every day. Pregnancy is not the end of the world.
I'm so sorry.
We love him.
I'm sorry.
What did they tell you?
I think they want to know if I killed it myself.
Yeah, you go to jail.
I didn't though. But that's the thing. I know.
You know, but they can't tell that.
I know. I promised them I didn't do anything.
Sky, we had a perfect life.
I didn't.
Who's the father?
Trey, that guy I used to date a long time ago.
You lied to me about him. You lied to me about so much. And now you're going to lose Brandon over this. Sky.
Okay, honey. You did lie.
Well, not about that. I didn't hurt her.
Here's the thing. What's done is done. But it would have been so much better had you told us. So much better. And I don't know what's going to happen next. They're over there digging up something in our backyard that we had no idea. Your mother didn't even know you were pregnant. Can you imagine the absolute horror that we just went through not knowing what's going on?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
know you're sorry, honey, but lying is
But I was completely honest to them.
But you lied to us.
I could have helped you.
I know, but you would have been so mad at me. I'm sorry.
And we're not now.
I know you guys are so mad.
The thing is, because now we can't fix this. There's
If
nothing
you go to
we can
jail,
do.
it's in the papers. It's everywhere. The neighbors have already called me. Krista already called me, and I know she was telling me that they're digging up stuff in her backyard. You're going to be on the news. How do you think Mims and Paps and Bill and Janet will feel?
Please, you're supposed to support me. I didn't.
Skylar, I am supportive, but I'm just saying.
Tell you guys.
Honey, that is wrong.
I know, but I didn't kill her. I didn't kill her baby.
Honey, why didn't you just tell us?
I didn't want you to be mad at me.
But do you think you could possibly get away with something like that?
I didn't.
You're not.
I'm just gonna tell you guys.
But after the fact. I understand you're sorry. I understand you didn't mean it. But you gotta understand this is the single worst possible scenario you could possibly have put us in.
I know. I'm sorry. I'll do anything to fix it.
You can't. It's gone.
I know.
You just gotta hope they don't take you to jail. I don't know what's gonna happen. Did they ever advise you of your rights?
Yeah.
And you talked to them?
Yeah. I didn't have anything to hide.
Did they charge you?
No. Katie told me I got to go home.
Okay, well, I hope that's the case.
Skylar, if they do an autopsy on the baby and they find out that
This story is super crazy to me because, I mean, how do you, I mean, even as a kid, even as a teenager, teenagers get pregnant all the time. Like that's not anything new. You know what I mean? So even in the event of that situation, you would think as a kid they would want help. They wouldn't know what to do. But for her to strategically plan out this plan or map out this plan to bury her baby, to name her baby, and then to bury her baby, even if the baby was moving a little bit or even if she was breathing a little bit, she was still alive. My thought process is she did something to the baby to kill the baby because she couldn't have the baby. She didn't want to tell her parents about the baby, and then she tried to cover it up by burying her. Skylar all charges were dropped. I'm gonna read from the article. She was basically acquitted on all charges of aggravated murder, involuntary manslaughter, and child endangering after months of litigation and a trial that received national media coverage. Now, she did get, what did they charge her with?
Abuse of a corpse.
Abuse of a corpse was the only thing they charged her with, and she ended up getting 3 years probation, I believe.
And 7 days in jail.
And that was it.
He didn't charge her with a fine.
Ms. Richardson, you get the last word in all of this. Is there anything that you want to tell me before I impose a sentence?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would do anything and above that you ask, and I understand. And I just wanted to say how sorry I was. I can sometimes be selfish, but I would like to think that I've become better in the knowledge that I've upset everyone and hurt so many people with what I've done. And I'm forever sorry, and I'm so sorry. I'm really, really sorry, and I understand. And thank you.
Ms. Richardson, we've been living with this case now for over 2 years. Actually, part of it is still in the Supreme Court, even as we speak right now. And I've always sort of thought of this case, Ms. Richardson, as a story of two little girls, Skyler Richardson and Annabelle Richardson. And, you know, I have a daughter about your age, Ms. Richardson, and I have a granddaughter about the age that Annabelle would be right now. The jury found that the state did not prove that you were guilty of killing your baby, either intentionally by way of aggravated murder or recklessly by the involuntary manslaughter. in all of this mess that we have with this case, I think what often gets overlooked, Ms. Richardson, is just how precious life is. Your life, Annabelle's life, life is precious, and it should be protected, and it should be guarded in all respects. And I have reviewed all of the expert reports in this case. I listened to the expert's testimony. I firmly believe, Ms. Richardson, in fact, I know in my heart that if you would have made different decisions in this case, Annabelle would be here today. And I know that might be difficult for you to hear. Some people are inclined to think to themselves, you know, this is America. We kill unborn babies every day. But I don't look at it that way, Ms. Richardson. And the law does not allow me to consider the acts that you took prior to giving birth. But I think that your choices before birth, during birth, and after show a grotesque disregard for life. And I think when I look at this case, that to me is what offends the community sensibilities. But because of policy decisions that are beyond my purview, the jury was not permitted to consider those things, and neither am I. So I don't hold those things against you in the sentencing. I find that you are amenable to community control. It's a mandatory community control case. I'm going to place you on 3 years of basic supervision. I'm going to impose upon you the standard rules of community control, and I'm going to delegate to your officer the ability to make special or additional conditions as they see fit. I'm going to order as a term of your community control that you spend 7 days in the county jail. I'm going to credit you the 7 days that you have already done, which means that you are going to be going home today. Your stated prison term is going to be 12 months in prison. I'm not sending you to prison today, but if you violate the terms of community control, I can impose up to the maximum penalty in this case. This includes an optional period of post-release control. If I send you to prison, the adult parole authority then has the option but not the requirement to supervise you for up to 3 years after your release. If they impose that supervision and you violate the terms, you can be returned to prison for up to 1/2 of my original sentence. Or if you violate by committing a new felony, then you can be returned to prison for up to 1 year or the amount of time you have left on post-release control. It's automatically whichever of those is the longer period. It's automatically consecutive to the sentence that you would receive for the new felony. None of this prison business matters to you at all as long as you don't violate the terms of community control. Officer Bittinger has made some excellent recommendations in this case about things that you should do. I'm not going to follow any of those recommendations because I think that it is sufficient for me to supervise you, and as long as you don't violate the terms of community control, our standard rules, hopefully we won't have any more issues. I'm not going to impose a fine in the case. I am going to impose the costs upon you. Is there anything else? You can be seated if you want.
Thank you.
But the reason why they end up saying all the charges got dropped is because I think they end up coming back and they had I think some detectives and all that end up coming in and saying that they kind of persuade her to say some of the things like she burnt her. Like, if you burnt her, just tell us, you know what I'm saying? And then she would say, well, I kind of did. Maybe I did burn her a little bit.
And then they did mention the word gargling first before she started to use the word gargling. So they kind of also the doctor came back, one of the doctors that was examining the baby bones came back and said that she made a mistake.
That the first report that we did, well, it was the second autopsy done. So they said the first one was a mistake made, and the second one which she did, she didn't see char on the bones. So that was another thing where they kind of used to say, well, she wasn't guilty. On top of some of the detectives coming forward, basically saying we kind of persuaded her to say the baby was gargling or she burnt her. But I mean,
she still confessed to that.
Yeah, and I think someone burying a baby and knowing exactly what they're doing should get way more. I'm not saying, because she's a kid and kids do make mistakes. And I understand that an 18-year-old mind is not fully developed, but for someone to bury a baby and have all this uncertainty around what actually happened, don't no one know but her. And I believe she should have got more than, I mean, I'm not saying give her life in jail because kids make mistakes, but I do believe it should have been more harsh than 3 years of probation. Now, this trial went on for like 2 years. So she did spend like a year on house arrest where she couldn't go anywhere leading up to the trial. And then she didn't break any of the rules, so they ended up giving her a little leeway and giving her a curfew to where she can go out and come back. But that's basically the harshest thing she did, because when the trial came about, I believe she spent 7 days exactly in jail, and the judge ended up finding her not guilty on all charges, but the abuse of a corpse, which the maximum sentence to that was only 12 months in jail. So he didn't give her the max. I believe he just gave her the probation and said if she didn't follow the rules of the probation, she could spend 6 months up to 12 months in prison. But he said none of the prison time mattered if she just did the probation and basically didn't break any rules. Now, her dream was to go to the University of Cincinnati. So her felony that she got, she ended up applying for the University of Cincinnati after all this got settled, but she ended up getting denied because of her felony. So I believe she ended up going to a junior college and earning a degree there, and said she wanted to become a lawyer at some point. And the lawyers that she had, which she had 3 lawyers that was pretty good as well, they ended up getting her a job at their law firm, and I mean, I guess she's working towards being a lawyer at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that pushed me in the direction of she should have got deeper consequences to her action was the fact that she did text her mom the next day and her boyfriend the next day, stating that she felt so much better, and that she sent a picture of her mom. She went to the gym the next day and sent a picture to her mom saying, "My stomach is back. I can't wait for, our dinner date," basically, and that she didn't have to worry about that anymore. So, I mean, after having a baby, you text saying that you're happy, you're so happy, and all this. It's just a lot, you guys. When I seen it, I'm like, oh yeah, we definitely have to bring this to our people and see what y'all think about it. So let us know down below your thoughts. We love to communicate with you guys. So let us know what you think about this case. And if she should have got more time, or what would you have done in that situation? Let us know down below. As always, y'all know we love you guys, and we will definitely be back with more true crimes.